Weber friends. Today we are going to be talking about spring knitting, and specifically I'm going to be sharing some cute patterns I have found for spring and summer, and then asking you guys to help me figure out which of my stash yarns I can use because I'm going to be working totally from stash for the upcoming season. So if that sounds like it will be of interest to you, I hope you will stick around. Hello friends, welcome back to the Media Better One and Its YouTube channel. I am your host Kristen, and as I said, today we're going to be talking about spring and summer knitting warm weather projects. So I'm going to start off with a little life update, and if it's not of interest to you, you can go ahead and skip ahead to the next chapter to hear more about patterns. But this is sort of inspired by life stuff, so that's where I'm going to start. Which is to say that I did mention, I don't know, a couple videos ago that our family is being impacted by a lot of the policies being pursued by the Trump administration, and in particular, the funding cuts, delays, postponements. So to that end, it does appear that unless there is a dramatic shift in policy, the organization that my husband works for, which is similar to the UN, but only for countries in the Western Hemisphere, and that should be enough to go on if you want to figure it out. They will run out of funding for his office by August, and he will lose his position because it will be eliminated. He's worked there for 20 years, over 20 years. And even better, in order to work in the United States, he needs to have his visa sponsored by an employer. Now, I do work. Once my kids started going to school full day, which was not until 2021, I started working as a freelance translator. Unfortunately, within the last couple of years, AI has basically destroyed the industry in that people are happy to accept a mediocre translation from a machine as long as it's free, rather than paying a professional for a good translation. So now most of my work is writing and editing as a freelancer, which is not going to pay all our bills and is definitely not going to get us health insurance. So we have some difficult months and decisions and such ahead. One thing it means is that I'm not buying any yarn. So to that end, all of my spring and summer knitting projects need to come from my stash. So that is what we're going to be doing today, looking at some stuff that I am hoping to work on as the weather warms up, and then taking a look at my stash, seeing what my options are, and would definitely welcome your feedback. So this bag, it's a really cute bag. There we go. I got this from Nerdbird Makery, I think, and I think she's not really in business anymore. Unfortunately, it's really cute. These are all of my spring summer yarns. So I know in many places you can get away with wool, even in the warmer weather. Wool is basically a no-go here from about mid-May to the end of September. It is too hot, it is too humid, it is simply uncomfortable, at least for me. Maybe other people feel differently. So for spring, some wool blends are an option, but by summer, it's got to be all plant-based fibers. Wool is not happening. So that's what I have in that lovely bag. And we're going to see what I compare with what I have queued up for the next couple of months. So I have 9 projects here. I'm not going to accomplish 9 projects. And I don't think I have yarn for 9 projects, but I will include all of these patterns in a bundle linked down below so that you can check them out. So one that I I know I'm not going to be able to make, but I just want to share it because it's so cute. So the number one thing I really wanted to work on this spring was the lavender tank top. So I think I discovered this last spring when I did a video about spring knitting. More recently, I know that Young Folk Knits is knitting this, so you may have seen it over there. So this pattern is worked in a 100% merino. If I were going to try to use DK weight leftovers, I could probably do it, but I don't want to knit this in a 100% merino because I don't feel like I'll get enough wear out of it. This is just such a limited period of time in which you might want to wear a sleeveless wool top. So what I really wanted to do was to get a wool blend, like a 50-50 wool cotton. I had some yarn picked out. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen. But I just wanted to share it here because it's so cute, and I thought you guys might want to tackle this one for the upcoming warm weather. So again, that's the lavender tank top. That is a pattern by Along Avec Anna. But these other 8 are in my queue. Like I said, there's no way I'm going to get to knit all of these. So I'm just kind of brainstorming, seeing what might work for what, because I don't, again, have enough yarn for all of these either. But one that I'm almost positive I want to knit. This is the Pie Camisole. This is a pattern by Nabita Joret, or Jouret, I don't know, she could be French, I don't know. So this is knit in a 100% wool fingering weight yarn. Again, I'm not going to knit this in a 100% wool. I want to do it in some kind of blend. So obviously I need a fingering weight. Are they all fingering weight? She has several options here. And it looks like they're all, no, one of them is a sport, so a sport might work as well. So let's see what we have. All right, so this is a yarn that I got last year when I was trying my Amazon yarn shopping. It's called Autumn Wind by Lotus Yarns. It is 90% cotton, 10% cashmere. And it says that it's a US 3 to 5, so that's like a sport weight. So that's one option, but I think that's a little bit too much cotton. Since this is a 100% wool used in the sample, I would like to stick with something that is at least 50% wool. But that is at least the right weight, so that's an idea. Another option we have is, this is Elixir from Knit Picks. This is 45% alpaca, 35% merino, 20% linen. So we have both plant and animal fibers, which is good. That alpaca might be a little warm though for this, but it is a fingering weight yarn. There we go. Alpaca is giving it some nice fuzz. I'm not sure if I want that for this particular pattern, but option number 2. And then the last one is kind of where I am leaning. So this is Amana Yarns Jesky. This is a 60% merino wool, 10% cotton, no, 30%, like it's literally right in front of me and I can't read it. 30% Pima cotton, 10% linen. So we got 60% wool, 40% plant fibers. This is, I would say, a heavy fingering to a sport weight yarn. So it's 383 yards for 100 grams. And I think I may even have 4 of these. I don't think I need that many. I think I only need maybe 2. Now I had started a project with this. So this is the beginnings of a ripple halter, which is a pattern by Jessie May. And it's looking lovely. But I know I'm not gonna wear this. Like this high neck, and even in the warm weather, I'm not, even in a cotton or a linen, I'm not gonna like that. It's very open on the sides, which means it's going to make wearing undergarments with it a challenge. It looks lovely, but I know I'm not going to wear it. So I can easily take this off the needles. Even if I didn't, I think I have plenty of this yarn. So I've got 2, and there's the 3rd. So I have 3 at least skeins of this, which would be plenty for that Pie Camisole. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. Probably the Jesky. This is a lovely yarn. I got this. You can get this here, but I believe I actually bought this when I was in Peru. So those are my three options for the pie camisole: the Chesky, this cotton cashmere, which somebody said on the video is very pilly. That's not a surprise. And the Elixir by Knit Picks. The next project I really like for spring or summer is the Moonglow top. This is a pattern by Zenette Knits. I don't know how that's pronounced. And this says, it says that it's a DK weight. However, it says yarn held together, light fingering plus lace. I don't think a light fingering plus a lace makes a DK weight. I feel like a sport weight might work here. So it's calling for a light fingering that is 60% rayon, 40% tencel, held double with 100% polyester lace, which I didn't even think was a thing, but clearly it is. You know, for the pie camisole, because it was originally done in wool, I wanted to make sure that the yarn I use has at least some animal fiber because it's going to mimic the behavior of the yarn more closely. Since this one is 100% plant fibers or synthetics, as the case may be, I don't need to worry about having wool. I can use something that is definitely more of a warm weather yarn. So what I'm thinking for this is maybe this yarn, which I recently got from Hobby. So this is their Rococo linen. It is viscose cotton linen blend, and it is 100 grams, 300 yards, which is definitely like a sport weight-ish. My only concern about this one is you can see it's marled, and I'm concerned that that is going to interfere with a lot of the like lace stuff that's going on here. Definitely I could swatch. That's always a choice. I mean, I will swatch, but that could be something that is revealed in a swatch. This is a really cute design. So this was released last summer. It says it is worked seamlessly from the top down with an angled shoulder seam at the back. And because I guess knit from the top down, easy to customize to your preferred length. So this one is a really cute, really summery, definitely not sort of boring stockinette. There is a fair bit going on here. And despite the fact that she has used, either plant fibers or synthetics with her sample, it is really holding its shape well. That is sometimes can be a concern with plant fibers working with lace and things like that, is that they don't have the right elasticity. But what else do I have that might work? Another option I have is an actual DK weight, which again is what the pattern calls for. So this is a discontinued yarn from Knit Picks. This is called Kindred. It is a 68% baby alpaca, 32% cotton. That is going to be a very warm fabric. And also, while it is an animal fiber, which the sample is not, alpaca is really a very inelastic animal fiber, so it will behave more like the cotton or synthetics that are in the original sample, and it does have a fair bit of cotton. I am concerned that it would be very warm. But I've had this yarn for a while. I think I got it on clearance because, again, this is a discontinued yarn, and I just haven't found anything to do with it. So that's another option. Let's see if I have anything else here in my bag of tricks here. Okay, so I have one more, but again, I think this one is just going to be a little too heavy. This is Little Fox Willow. I really like this color. So this is a 70% merino, 30% hemp. So this one is a sport weight. I do like the color of this, so like a nice white. I do think 70% merino, a little heavy. I'm also, I don't know if you can see. So this is sort of typical when you blend linen with other fiber. You get a lot of, that's my hair. You get a lot of linen strands kind of poking out, which I don't think I'm going to love, but that may change when it's actually knit up and blocked. So those are my three options for that Moonglow top. We've got Hobby Rococo linen, Little Fox Willow, or Kindred from Knit Picks. All right, this next one is another one where we want a 100% plant fiber. And actually, I might show you two at the same time because basically I can use one set of yarn for one and one for the other. So I'm going to show you both. First, I'm going to show you the Ilana camisole. This is a pattern by Masha Sablikova. And then the other one is the Filigree Cami by Marcena Kolachik. So these are very similar in that they both are recommending some of the same yarns. So basically, I think I can use, like I said, one some of this yarn for one and some for the other. Now the Filigree Cami I came across last year, and I was like, this is beautiful. I absolutely love this, but what can I wear this with? I'm too old to go braless. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I could wear this as a beach cover up. That would be cute. I can wear it, with a little cotton cami underneath, maybe if necessary. I don't know. Even if I'm not, now I feel like even if I might not wear it that much, I just think it's so beautiful. And it would be, generally speaking, I am a product knitter, but I think this might be a fun process knit project. And then the Ilana camisole, I love this with the subtle little cables. This is going to go with basically anything depending on what color you work it in. And I particularly love that, again, both of these are actually calling for a plant-based yarn. So when you use a nice summer yarn, you're going to get something that looks very similar. So one thing, both of them suggest as one of the options, knitting for olive pure silk. And I have two different colors of knitting for olive pure silk that I originally bought to make one project that I don't know, just doesn't interest me anymore. So now I have two different colors. I think I could get my size in two balls of the knitting for olive pure silk. So it is, let's see, 273 yards. I've got two of them, so I have 546 yards of each color. So for the Ilana camisole, I would probably knit the size 3. Let's see, it says 4 to 5 inches of negative ease. So I would probably knit the size 3 or 4. And either way, I would have enough yarn in one color. Let's see about the other one, the Filigree Cami. So for this one, I will probably knit the size 3, and I'd be really close on whether I would have enough for it or not. So maybe I use the knitting for olive for the Ilana, since it definitely says I have enough. Which color? And then another option I have for the Filigree Cami is this. So I bought this last year at the Fabric, it's called Yarn Centric. I got this at Yarn Centric last year. This is Queen City Yarn Coleman Light, which is a 65-35 silk linen. And I have two of these. So I definitely have enough of this that I could do the Filigree camisole with this one. I don't know about the color though. I was really kind of imagining it in a lighter color. But everything else I have is wool. So I don't know. Try to squeak it out of the knitting for olive, because as I said, that is one of the recommended yarns. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know, because I'm pretty sure I want that one as a fun knit for the process, even if not even if the product isn't super even if the product is not super practical. All right. The next one I don't 100% need, but it's been in my queue for a while and it seems like a nice basic. And so that is the Rolled Edge Tank. This is another pattern by Jessie May. And this one uses Confluence cotton from the Farmer's Daughter's Fiber. I can never say that right. which is, despite the fact that it's called Confluence cotton, is only 20% cotton. The rest is Targhee and Rambouillet. So we got 80% wool, 20% cotton. And it is a fingering weight yarn. So I definitely would not want to knit this in that much wool. But again, something that's like a 50-50 is an option. So for fingering weight, that means that we have, again, the Chasqui, which is closer to a sport, but you could probably push it. The Willow, again, which is a sport, but close enough. Let's see, what is the gauge? 22 stitches over 4. Yeah, you could definitely use a sport weight substitute for that. So I'm kind of thinking this one might be the choice for that, because these little pokey things are going to be less annoying in a stockinette than they would be in something that has a lot of patterning that might interfere with it. But again, I could try the Chasqui as well. Another pattern that has been in my queue for a while is the Crumpet Camisole, but much longer. Clearly, I am not going to wear this way that is, it's practically a bra. I would definitely make a longer version, which means I will need more yarn than is called for in the pattern. So this is a pattern by Park Williams. And the yarn she uses is Cotton Lino from the Wandering Flock, which I do want to try. It sounds interesting. 35% cotton, 30% bombyx, whatever that is, 20% linen, and 15% alpaca. Now, I don't know what bombyx is, but it sounds like this is a mostly plant-based sport weight yarn. What I originally planned to use for this was the Elixir, which is the Knit Picks yarn that it says fingering weight, but it's definitely on the heavier side of a fingering weight. However, this is very animal fiber heavy, only 20% linen. That might be a concern. Again, we could try the Chasqui. It is a sport weight. It is still mostly animal fiber, but a little bit more of the plant fibers are in here. Because this is knit on a US 7, and it is a lacy pattern that is supposed to be very open, I think we could make a DK weight work. So again, we can try out the Kindred. So this is mostly alpaca, 30-ish% cotton. So not quite the right blend, but again, you've got your animal fiber is the alpaca, which has different properties than a wool and might behave a little bit more like a plant-based fiber. So this project is not top of my list, but I think these are the two big contenders if I were to tackle this one. All right, this last one just kind of stumbled in. I've seen a couple of people knit this. So I'd originally looked at it, assumed it was just a wool yarn, but it is actually a yak cotton blend yarn, which I think is going to make this nice and light and airy. This is Stromboli. This is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I think this has a nice mix of eyelets and cables. Nice drape. This would make a good spring project, I think. So definitely probably not for summer, but I think for spring, this would be nice. It is done in a light fingering. And as I said, blend. So again, we've got the Chasqui, or this is another one we could try with the Elixir. I'm just showing you guys like one, but I do have like multiple of these yarns that I would have enough. So let's see. Designed to fit with 7 to 15 inches of positive ease. So probably I could knit the size 1, maybe 2. So at most I need 1,000 yards of yarn for this one. Like I said, this one just kind of drifted onto my radar. I had seen some people knit it. I mean, to be honest, I think the dark color here in the sample is not really doing this project any favors because like you can see, in this sample here, you can just see a lot better what is going on. This is also a project that you could probably just use a fingering weight non-plant blend for this and it would work fine. So that's another option, is to just do this one in all wool. It would really be an early kind of spring sweater, and then I would probably put it off until next year because it's already mid-March. If I ended up not using it for anything else, this might be the one for that. I don't know. All right, so those are some of the fun spring slash summer warm weather knitting patterns that have been on my radar and are now in my queue and that I'm planning for at least a few of them for the upcoming warm weather. I will love to hear your thoughts on what yarn I should use for what, how I can make the most of the stash that I have, because I am working all of these projects, or as many as I can, from stash this year. And I do have a fair bit of warm weather yarn, which is good, but I need some guidance in figuring out how to best divvy it up. So definitely leave a comment if you have any thoughts. Thank you again for joining me for today's video. I hope that if you enjoyed it, you will give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. New knitting videos here every Saturday. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Miriam Barawana, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye.